We are in San Francisco 2026 for the Growth Summit with Winning by Design. We're going to talk all things AI, growth loops, go-to-market. I'm really excited for this year, especially around agentic AI and how humans are going to be operating with AI agents. So stay tuned as I go deep into the information with AI agents and how we can scale that with humans. So let's go inside, let's check it out.
The theme of the day was unstoppable growth, and it started with a hard truth. Jacco opened by pointing out something that I think most of us in the industry feel but don't say out loud. Our entire GTM foundation, email, social, SEO, seat-based SaaS is built on 25-year-old technology. Every time something new comes along, we don't rethink the system. We just bolt it on top of what already exists. We reason by analogy instead of first principles. And slowly, without noticing, we end up running a 2025 business on a 2003 engine. We introduced a term that I think is going to stick in this industry: Funnelism. It's the pattern that emerges when a company becomes so focused on acquisition that retention, expansion, and actual customer impact become afterthoughts. More SDRs, more pipeline, more top of funnel spend, while nobody is asking whether the customers already inside the machine are actually succeeding. The data he walked through made clear that this isn't one company's story. It's an industry-wide disease, and the cost of it shows up in compounding that stops working and growth rates that flatten, and in revenue engines that require more and more input just to hold their output steady. He walked us through 3 case studies that brought this to life, showing not just where things go wrong, but what actually looks like when a company gets the system right. What really landed for me personally was the distinction between interception and intervention. The companies that win aren't the ones that react when growth slows. They're the ones who saw the curve coming, built the next motion while the current one still had momentum, and stacked growth on top of growth. That reframe alone was worth being in the room. Dr. Dan Patterson brought the science to back all of it up. Growth governance, how to pinpoint the real constraints inside your system, and why the math of compounding means recovery from a broken growth model costs disproportionately more than just getting it right the first time. His closing line stuck with me. We have a choice between managing the number after the fact or governing the system before the miss. Most companies are doing the former when they should be doing the latter. And Dan Smith closed with the line that tied everything together for me as a revenue architect. AI doesn't fix broken systems, it multiplies them. After a day full of frameworks, case studies, and honestly some unforgettable truths about how most of us are running our revenue engines, I wanted to go deeper. I pulled Jacco aside for a sit-down conversation to get his unfiltered take on what all of this actually means for companies trying to make a shift right now. Let's get into it.
Jacco, my friend, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Look, after a day like this, how can you not be great, right?
It was an amazing event. Yeah, thank you so much for hosting this and putting this on. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, thank you. What did you enjoy the most?
I came here to understand more about agents and how we can work better with agents as humans, and kind of approaching how to use agentic AI in a way very similar to how you created architecture for revenue.
And what did you walk away with?
I think I had this concept in my head, and I heard a lot of words that brought the context that I needed. And I think the conversations around decentralization, centralization, top-down, bottom-up way of deploying AI really caught my attention.
Look, we say you come for the knowledge, you stay for the party. When we go through transformations like the ones we're going through, it essentially is a form of a movement that is needed, right? Whether it is the internet or mobile phone. Now, we don't recognize them as movement like a political movement or something like that, but they are essentially movement. A large group of people with a certain belief system need to go from X to Y, need to go from a SaaS belief system to an AI belief system.
Right.
It requires a movement to do that.
What do you think people need to know more than just beyond like tools itself to really understand this movement? Like what do you think is going to push this movement forward?
To stop being afraid. And being afraid really does nobody no good, right? Like, no, if you think about a movie, like I watched the other day, I watched Jaws again because it was on Netflix or something like that. And they create this angst that you have while they're showing as minimal amount of the shark as actually. But once you see the shark, you go like, okay, I'm no longer as afraid of it.
Bad.
Yeah, not so bad, right?
Yeah.
Once you see it. And so, you know, like in this case, we are not seeing what AI truly is, and as a result, we are very afraid of it. But there's no reason to be afraid of it. Look, we can make AI what we want it to be in a way, right? Like we don't have to let it put upon us down. So, like, you know, like I like to take the bull by the horns and go like, here's what we're going to do with it in GTM. We're going to create a better data architecture. We're going to create a better buying experience with it.
Curious, like in your upbringing, with your father and mother, was there a time where it's like a core memory for you that maybe they taught you something very important that's made you into who you are today as a person?
The main thing I believe is that, which is for me more important, is let's say we split equal shares. You got 1/3 from your mother, you got 1/3 from your father, and you got 1/3 that is in there that is you.
Yeah.
Figure out who that 1/3 is, right? Because the other 1/3 you're exposed to, you know, families, you see your brothers and sisters, they all have it.
Right.
What is the true part that is you?
Okay, last question.
Sure.
Curious, like how did you come up with the concept of revenue architecture? Did something inspire you? Did you read a book, or like where did it come from?
No, I'm an engineer by trade, so it's very normal for me to think in models. But what I like to say is that in many cases, it comes from a form of, you sleep on it and the next morning you wake up, right? And it's the best way to describe it, it's a calling. And a calling sounds great. Oh my, you know, like when people say I was given a calling, you feel like, oh, that must have been great.
Yeah.
Calling is not great because that means it's going to wake you up whether you want it or not.
Yeah.
Right? And it's going to keep you going when you're really busy and stuff like that. You just can't stop thinking about it. Like yourself,
Yeah.
you're doing this. You know, I'm
It's
sure
a bigger
that
purpose.
it's
to-
you feel like it's something that you need to do.
Yeah.
And then you're going to like, I probably should make money out of this, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a calling. Great thing for finding a calling. There's another thing. A calling doesn't have to last a lifetime.
And for the sake of the movement, what's like a word or a sentence that you would just like to leave with to kind of share with the world?
We have reached the end of funnelism. And what is funnelism? Funnelism is that we sacrifice retention, expansion, and customers' interest in the form of impact. We focus on acquisition. That to me is like, I don't mind, I love acquisition, but it cannot come at the cost of the customer's interest. And if you look at SaaS, historically, it has come at the customer's interest. And so we now see that it is being reset, and I think that what we're experiencing here, the start of the end of funnelism.
Thank you, Jacco.
You're most
Yeah.
welcome.